Hey there everyone, it's Kelly with Kellyscards.ca and welcome to this video. For today's video, I thought I would do some stencil work. Stencils are awesome because they're not that expensive. You can get quite a variety of stencils from doilies to alphabets to patterns, and really love all the different stencils that you can buy. And again, they're not that expensive, you know, compared to say a background stamp. They're about a quarter the price and you can do quite a bit with them. So I thought I would just bring in my craft mat here and show you some ideas on how to use distress inks with stencils. So I'm going to use this one here. This one here is the Mini Infinite Lace, and this is from the Crafters Workshop. And I really like this stencil. It's a good size. I like the pattern. And I'm going to bring in some Neenah Solar White, and this is the 80-pound. I'm going to bring in some colors now, and this is the Distress Oxide. All these inks are. This is the Blueprint Sketch, which, a funny story about this, I bought the regular sized of the regular Distress inks, and then I realized it wasn't the Oxide ink. So I went and I got another one of these, and then I lost it, and I knew I'd bought it, but I couldn't find it, and I just found it. So I'm really excited to have found that color. And then I'm going to bring in some peacock feathers, and lastly I'm going to bring in some of this Salty Ocean. I think these colors again work really nice together, and there won't be a ton of work to blend them because they're so like. This is this micro pour tape, and I like to use this because it's thin, it's not overly sticky, and I can use it fairly easy with these stencils, and it will stay on the stencils, and if it gets onto the paper, it won't wreck the paper. And I'm just going to bring this in like this. And now I've got my stencil set up, I'm ready to go. So first I'm going to use my peacock feathers, and I'm going to come in, and it's very important that your stencil does not move. If it moves, your image, or your basically what's stenciling, is going to change. So we want to make sure that it stays put, and that's why we want to make sure we tape it down quite well. So now I've got that on there. I'm going to come in from the other side and do some from the other side. You just want to make sure that you get it on there nicely. And now I'm going to start bringing in the blues. So I think I'm going to have the darker blue, this Blueprint Sketch, within the center, and then I'll have the Salty Ocean on the other sides. And I just love this color. It is so beautiful, and I really wanted to use it, and I finally found it. I can't believe it fell behind one of the drawers, and I knew I had it. I thought I was kind of going crazy because, like, I remember buying the Oxide again. So happy that I found this again. So I've got that in the middle, and now I'm going to bring in the Salty Ocean to go here and here, and you can see how nice these colors really work together. There's going to be very little blending that is going to need to be done because these are just, it's going to be effortless. And part of that is also the paper. This Neenah Solar White paper is excellent to blend on. And I'm just going to keep bringing the colors in here to blend. Now I'm just going to take a peek, and with Oxide ink you don't want to put your hands down on where you've inked, because then sometimes it will lift up from your fingers. So I'm just going to fold up my nonstick sheet to be able to hold it down, just to cover up a little of those spots. I can see my fingers had touched there, and I'm going to come in again with this one just there where I had touched. I'm going to do the same on this side, where I'm just going to re-ink where my fingers were touching into those corners. And it's a pretty little simple little fix. You can, some people will use papers and blend and put a piece of paper like this, but I like to use my craft sheet because that's pretty much what it's for, to get the ink on. And as we pull this off, look at how spectacular that is. That is just gorgeous. And I'll show you a couple other samples that I did with this same stencil. But I absolutely love that. That is gorgeous, and the colors really go well together. For my next one, I'm going to keep the same colors. I'm going to bring in some more of this Nina Solar White, and I will bring in a little bit more of this tape just to make sure nothing goes anywhere. And I'm going to bring in this stencil. This is the Simon Says Stamp Circular Lace Stencil, and it is such a beautiful stencil. And I'm just going to line it up here so that it matches to the top there. And then I will tape it straight down here. And one more just so nothing shifts on the side here. You can put a lot more tape if you want. I find if you're just careful, you don't need to overdo the tape. And again, my colors are the same with the blueprint sketch, the peacock colors, and the salty ocean. And for this, I am just going to put colors in different spots with no particular reason of where they're going. And they will start to blend all on their own. So we'll do a little bit of that. We'll do a little bit of this. I'll bring in some salty ocean and do over here. And again, because these colors go so well together, you don't really have to think about over blending it like some of the other colors that you can blend together. As you can see, it's starting to really look nice. I think I want to have this darker color a little bit bigger, and we'll pull it a little bit that way. Really like how that looks. Bring in the peacock colors again, or the peacock feathers, and we'll put that in there. And then again, I'm going to come in with the salty ocean, and again, this is all random. There is no method here of how these colors are going, and that's what makes it fun. You can just kind of play, and then if you come up with something you really like, you can write it down in a chart and then try to use those colors together a little bit more often. And I just love that blueprint sketch. I think it is such a beautiful color. And again, I'm just going to fold the non-stick craft stick, and I'll ink with my other hand, which is fine to bring just so that I don't get that extra handprint on there. And again, I will do the same thing here, so I can bring some of this salty ocean a little bit more up this way. And to finish it all off, I'm going to have a little bit more of this blueprint sketch in the corner here. I do like the salty ocean, but I think I need a little bit more of that blueprint sketch on here, and perhaps in a little bit in that corner, and I think otherwise it is pretty good. So now again, we're going to pull this off, and this is really the wow factor. Check this out. Isn't that a beautiful background for a card? And again, you can have sentiments going across, you can add flowers, you can add vellum to this, ribbon or whatnot. And this is a pretty spectacular base. I wish the stencil was a little bit bigger, but you can trim off a little bit and you're going to get most of the design. So stencils are pretty easy to wash up, and once they're washed up, then you can put them away for next time. So I'll just bring in the ones we did. You can see same colors, different stencils, really, really unique, each of them. And that's what I love about stencils. Again, they are different, and just by adding the colors, you're going to get so much difference each time. Just show you a couple that I had done. This is with the same stencil, the Crafters Workshop one here, and I did this with some colors here with this fossilized amber and the spice marmalade and the abandoned coral, and I really liked how that looked, that I did two of them. And I also did multi-tones here. This is again with the Simon Says Stamp one, and again I just pounced on the color and I found that to be quite fun. So I thought I'd show you a couple cards that I made in the same technique. I used this one here by Cardabella, and this one here is the Houndstooth stencil. And I used this stencil to basically do the same techniques, and I created a couple cards. So this is the first card I made, and as you can see, that's the stenciled part. And I used a heart die cut to cut that out. And I layered up the word thank you 3 or 4 times on there. I put a flourish in behind and some little accents. And I even did some sewing just for light colors there, as having a couple layers. So I made that card, and then I had a lot of fun making this card here. So as you can see, that's that stenciled background. That is where the heart went from the middle of that, and I was able to make 2 cards with it. I made a shaker card, and all the sequins in that are very similar colors to what I used for inking. And I layered up this sentiment several times so that it would be thicker. And I threw in a little sticker here of this little shimmery butterfly. I layered it up, and that was this card. So these backgrounds, you can make a lot of different cards, and they're a lot of fun to make. Like, imagine this with a really nice sentiment in there, or with some vellum or a couple little elements. Like, that is so beautiful. So I hope you enjoyed this video. You can check me out on my website at Kellyscards.ca. You can subscribe for more videos, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day.